Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about all the books that are on my summer 2025 TBR. I have a list of quite a few different books, all different genres. Some have recently come out, others have been out for a while, but these are just books that I either have been eyeing or have on my shelf that I want to read this summer. I'm going to be talking about these books in the genres that they're in to kind of separate them and make them kind of a little bit more cohesive. And I want to start out with the romance genre, so without further ado, let's get right into my actual TBR. The first book on my TBR is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This book just recently came out on the 27th of May, and this is kind of a spin-off of one of her other books called Not in Love. In Not in Love, you follow Eli and Rue. You get to see Eli's best friend Connor and Eli's sister Maya, and Problematic Summer Romance follows Connor and Maya. This book takes place in Italy and it has a wedding backdrop. Both Maya and Connor are going to be attending a wedding there. A big factor of this book is their age gap. Connor is quite a bit older than Maya, and in his mind that's very problematic and bad, and so he doesn't let himself even kind of entertain the thought of Maya. I actually just finished reading this book today and I can say that I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I was able to at least get one of these books completed so far because it is June and I feel like I'm already slacking, but I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to say anything else about it, but that's Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. Next up, I want to finish the Windy City series by Liz Tom Ford. I read The Right Move, which is the second book in this series. I didn't read the first one because I heard a lot of people didn't like it, but I've heard so many good things about Caught Up and then Play Along, and the newest and latest book in this series called Rewind It Back just came out recently. So I would love to get through those three, the last three in the series. All of these books are sports romance and they all take place in Chicago. Each book follows a different sport. The one I read, which was The Right Move, followed basketball. And then the last three books follow baseball and hockey. So I am really looking forward to these. They are on Kindle Unlimited. I did cancel my Kindle Unlimited subscription, so either I'll have to buy them or get Kindle Unlimited again. The next romance book is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I've read all three of Ashley Poston's newest adult romance books, and all of them have a little bit of a magical realism aspect to it. I wouldn't even really consider it fantasy because the magical element is not explained at all. It just kind of happens and you just go along with it. But this one, I believe, follows a songwriter and a musician, and the synopsis also makes it sound like there's a sort of connection between their minds. This book comes out on the 17th of June. I have the audiobook on hold at the library and I'm really excited to listen to this. I have really enjoyed The Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I did read a novel love story last year by her and I didn't love it, but I still liked her first two books a lot, so I'm hoping that this one will be another one that I really enjoy. I believe that this book is a romance. I'm not 100% sure, but this is The Summer Rant by Audrey Ingram. This book was one that was recently featured in Book of the Month, and I have seen quite a few people talking about it. It is, I believe, a love story about two people that are both running for governor, and they have quite a heavy past together. I believe it is a dual timeline with past and present of their past to now them running for the same position. I'm not sure if this is really a romance or if it's more of just a fiction story with a romance subplot. Either way, I will look to see if I can get this through the library, but I'm really excited to hopefully get to this summer. There are some other books that are romance that I want to reread this summer. I would love to reread some of Ali Hazelwood's other books. I read a lot of them when I was beginning my reading journey, and some of what happens in them is kind of faded in my mind. I really don't remember them too well, even though I know I loved them. So I would love to have the opportunity to reread some of them this summer, most specifically Check and Mate and Love Theoretically, because I know that I loved those when I read it, and I want to see if I like those more than Problematic Summer Romance or if I like Problematic Summer Romance more. I do have two other fantasy romance books on this list. The first one being The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This book also came out in May. It came out on the 20th, and I do have the physical copy of this because it is a gorgeous cover. The main character of this book is a diviner who is a sort of seer. Her and her fellow diviners have devoted themselves to this kingdom to make these predictions. Some of the other diviners start going missing, so our main character character has to enlist the help of this knight to try and figure out what's going on. I am so excited to read this. I really enjoyed Rachel Gillig's other duology, which was the Shepherd's King duology. It's One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. That duology is very, very lush, and it's very gothic in its kind of themes and how it feels while you're reading it. I assume that this one will have kind of a similar presence. Either way, I'm so excited and I am really, really looking forward to it. The next romantasy is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I read Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto and I really, really enjoyed it, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm fairly certain that this is Dramini fanfiction that got traditionally published. Even from reading the synopsis, you can kind of tell that when it was written, it might have been What If Voldemort and the Death Eaters won and Hermione was like taken by them. That's kind of the vibe I got from the synopsis. So either way, I'm sure I'll really enjoy it. I've seen quite a few good things about it. This comes out on the 8th of July and I'm really excited, honestly. Those are all of the romance and the fantasy romance. And then for the actual fantasy books that I am looking forward to this summer, I have the last book of An Ember in the Ashes series left, and that is A Sky Beyond the Storm. I don't want to give too much away as to what this book is about because it is the last in a series, but this follows our main character Elia and Elias that we see in the first book. It continues on in their point of views as they're just fighting this evil and trying to secure freedom for the entire country and for all the people in it. And then going off of that, the other book that I really want to read this summer is Air by Sabaa Tahir. This is I believe, a spin-off of An Ember in the Ashes series. I'm not even going to read the synopsis. I bought this book blindly because I loved the first 3 in the Ember in the Ashes series so much, but I don't want to read the synopsis of this in case it gives anything away. I believe that you can read them independently. You don't have to read An Ember in the Ashes to read Air, but I think that it does add a little bit more context to some of the things that go on in Air. So either way, I still don't want to read the synopsis in case it gives anything away of what might happen at the end. So really, really looking forward to both of those. I have both of them. I want to read them soon. Another book that I've had on my shelf for so long is Jade City. This is by Fonda Lee. I did start listening to the audiobook of this a little while ago, but the narrators have a very heavy Irish or Scottish accent, and I really have to pay attention for when they have an American accent in an audiobook. And so when they have a British, Irish, or just any other sort of accent in an audiobook, I have to pay attention even more. So I decided I would just read this book physically because I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if I listened to it. All I know about this book is that I believe that there are 2 different families and they both have access to Jade. The Jade allows them to have special powers and influence, and I think eventually in this book, if I'm not mistaken, that other people are starting to have access to the Jade, kind of throwing off the power balance. That might be wrong. There are a few other books in this series, so I'm hoping to get to this book this summer. I've had this book on my shelf for what feels like forever now, so I really just need to read it soon. Those are the only fantasy books that I'm really looking at right now. As for the more fiction, literary fiction books I want to read this summer, the first one is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I'm planning on buddy reading this book with my best friend, and I know that this follows 2 brothers as they are grieving the loss of their father. I don't really know much else about this book. I've read Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I think her books are very character driven. I don't think there is as much plot as there is more just a character study. It's been forever since I've read Normal People, so that might be wrong. I know I've heard some mixed things about Intermezzo, so I'm hoping to enjoy it. The next book that I am actually currently reading is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This book follows a lonely older lady and a very smart octopus as she is working some cleaning shifts at the aquarium where he lives. And years ago, our main character's son went missing, and I believe that the octopus is going to help her find out what happened to her son. I've heard it's a very heartwarming story, so I'm not very far into it. I think I'm around 40 pages in. I'm buddy reading this with my mom, so I hope we both enjoy it. Next up are 2 books by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have Atmosphere that I just got in the mail this week. Atmosphere takes place in the 1980s and it takes place at Rice University, which is conveniently in Houston. And it focuses on our main character, who is one of the first women scientists at NASA. I know that this is involve a love story quite heavily. My best friend has already read this book, so I have heard a little bit of her thoughts on it, but I'm still really looking forward to going into this. this, I really don't know too much else about what goes on in it. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I think that they are so immersive. They really just capture you in and are so easy to read, but also so beautifully written. I'm very, very excited for this one. And then the only other book in her historical celebrity series that she has going on that I haven't read is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know exactly why I haven't read this book yet. I think just because it was so viral on Book Talks a couple years ago that I just really didn't have any draw to pick it up. I know that this is so well loved by so many people and I really do need to read it, honestly. I would love to also read Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist as well. I know I haven't read Forever Interrupted and I've read Maybe in Another Life. I know there's another one that I haven't read either, so maybe I'll get to those this summer. Those are all the books that I have on my summer 2025 TBR. I didn't want to put too many books just because I am a mood reader, so I don't want to put too much pressure to read certain books if I'm really not in the mood to read them. But I think that July and August will be my prime time for reading just because I am still taking one class for school, so a little busy with that. But in July and August, I think I'll have a lot more time to read, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I just wish it weren't so hot in Texas where I could sit out and read because that would be ideal, but I can't even go outside for 1 second without instantly wanting to like suffocate because it's so hot. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If any of these books you've read or if they're also on your TBR, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts, opinions, whatever it may be. And I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye!